And one of the differences in Wigington's deck that I like, he has Kessig Malcontents in his build, which is pretty good at shoving through damage in a matchup where the board tends to get glutted. So we're coming in here. This matchup definitely underway. We got some confirmation on what these phantasmal images are copying. There's 2 of them on Wigington's side with a Noble Hierarch. Sedberry has a Drogskull Captain in an image. Assumption's going to be that that's copying the Captain. That's about the best it can do for the Spirits deck.
Yeah, once you get 2 Drogskull Captains, that's kind of, it locks out the board, right? And now both these images on Levi Wigington's side have been copying Champion of the Parish. Now, the Champion's no longer around, but the images still have that.
Yeah, pretty small just yet. One of them has a +1/+1 counter. The other one just hanging out as a 1/1. So Sedberry does seem to be significantly ahead here.
Supreme Phantom from Sedberry will continue to pump the team. Both those Drogskull Captains that were 3/3s now pump up to 4/4s. When he chooses to start attacking, Sedberry's going to have a great board. Now, he is behind on life totals.
Yeah, it looks like he's shocked for some lands and that sort of thing. So he's at 11. This is one of the differences between the human's mana base and the spirit's mana base. Fetches and shocks, those are going to hurt you a lot.
Swing in for 6. And looks like Noble Hierarch will make another Noble Hierarch. Actually, make that 8. Levi at 8. Threatening lethal in one more swing here. And I believe Wigington is at 8. Yeah, and with no way to answer, Wigington will pick up cards here as Charles Sedberry takes game 1.
Yeah, that's the strength of Spirits in this matchup. You just get really large flying attackers, and there's nothing Wigington could have done about it. No removal spells, and even if you did have them, that double Drogskull Captain, that busts up even your possibility to Reflector Mage your way through.
All right, so as we get ready here, looking towards sideboards for both players' decks. In the Humans versus Bant Spirits matchup, I'm going to talk through some of these here. On Levi's side, he's got Grafdigger's Cage, Gaddock Teague, Is It Staticaster, Knight of Autumn, Sin Collector, Ravenous Trap, Plague Crafter, and Whirler Rogue. It's a heavy creature matchup, so I expect neither of the sideboards to play too hard.
Yeah, there's not too much you can do. There's windows to leverage Staticaster, though as soon as one Lord's online, that's pretty poor.
Right.
Plague Crafter's not very good in the Noble Hierarch Mirror. If your opponent was only playing good creatures, it'd be a different sort of thing.
Yeah. Whirler Rogue, though, that might actually be fine here, right?
Yeah, that can give you some flying blockers and a way to make your creatures unblockable. And I don't actually mind like 1 copy of Grafdigger's Cage, just because Collected Company is one of the more important elements of the Spirits deck. Drawing both cages, that definitely starts to feel like a mulligan, but the first Grafdigger's Cage can be a pretty big deal against a Collected Company deck.
Yeah. Now on Charles' sideboard, he has a Damping Sphere, a Disdainful Stroke, 2 Unified Will, 2 Stony Silence. So, okay, things for combo matchups.
Yeah.
But things that might actually matter here. 2 Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, a Worship, a Dromoka's Command, and 2 copies of his own Knight of Autumn.
So the great card there is the Worship. Humans very bad at removing your creatures.
Yeah.
Get some stuff online, put a Worship out there.
He could actually catch Wigington off guard here. So he does have answers to Worship in these 3 Knight of Autumn, but I'm not sure he's going to board them in.
Right. Worship is a card you see in the Spirit sideboard sometimes.
Right.
I will say that Knight of Autumn is actually kind of reasonable in the matchup now that Spirits is playing Aether Vial. So you'll have some kind of target in more of the games.
It's like got enough modes that you can board it in just in case.
Right. Like 1 copy is pretty safe. Yeah. But you will want that because that Worship is kind of unbeatable otherwise.
The hard thing is without a card like Militia Bugler, it's not like Levi has a way to find the Knight of Autumn. If a Worship hits the table, he's just hoping he top decks it.
Yeah, hope you have enough pressure and you find it quickly. Dromoka's Command is pretty good in the matchup.
Yeah, I would assume that one's going to come in. A lot, in large creature mirrors, a 2-mana Hunt the Weak is a pretty good card.
Right. Surprise +1/+1 counter can mess up combat as well. Kind of a funny thing about that is you don't have to do the same creatures. You can kind of get 2 fights for the price of 1 with Dromoka's Command.
For Game 2, humans will be back on the play. At 10 and 3, this is kind of a similar situation as we had spoke about before. Not clear if it's a win and in, but the reverse is likely true. Don't want to lose this one.
A lose and out.
Yeah.
Two wins should do it, though.
Yeah, and if with good enough tiebreakers, a win and draw is possible.
Right.
For the best tiebreaker 10 and 3s, I could see it happening.
Yeah, these players are live. I think that's the way to put it. Sedberry a little bit more live, though. He is up a game here, and Bant Spirits generally considered to have some edges against a deck like humans. You saw there the flying creatures, they got too large, and Sedberry was just able to really push an advantage. Also, access to Path to Exile that humans doesn't have. You saw Sedberry had fired one of those off. That can slow the humans deck down, and the humans deck doesn't get anything like that to disrupt the Spirits deck. So Wigington's going to start by mulliganing on the play.
Yeah. Are there specific things you're trying to get in this sort of matchup?
You got to go fast.
All right, so we're looking, Champion of the Parish sounds great.
Yep. Turn 1 Noble Hierarch. Even a Vial on the first turn is going to be pretty important just because those allow you to go wide and get set up with Thalya's Lieutenant more quickly. If you don't have that kind of stuff, I think 0/1 drops is just going to be kind of unkeepable in this matchup because you don't have any 2-mana creatures that are highly impactful. It's not like a matchup like Storm where your Meddling Mage and your Kitesail Freebooters are really going to matter. It's a matchup where attacking is about your only thing you're doing.
On 6, looks Levi has kept, keeping a scry to the top, and here we'll go. He does have that 1-drop in Champion of the Parish. Let's see if he can be the first player to get out on the board. Now, Noble Hierarch on Sedberry's side will match the 1-drops.
Well, Champion is a good aggressive creature, though the Hierarch snowballs into more value more quickly.
Yeah, just a swing for 1 from Levi's. Cavern of Souls is the play, and no turn 2 play.
All right, so the hand, you're hoping for something that's really full on 3 drops, a bunch of Mantis Riders. There's at least 1 in the holding.
Yeah, he has a Mantis Rider and a Reflector Mage on 3.
Okay, those are pretty good cards.
Yeah, I guess ideally his 1-drop would have been Noble Hierarch. On Charles' side, he doesn't make a play, but that one's a little more suspect.
Yeah, he seems to be holding up a Spell Queller, and even though Wigington has a Cavern of Souls, you can still just exile the spell.
Yeah, it's not technically countering it, so the Mantis Rider goes under the Spell Queller. Levi doesn't lose a card there, and he doesn't even have Path to Exiles in his 75, so this is just a hard counter.
Yeah, best you can do is Reflector Mage it, but Sedberry has another Spell Queller at the ready.
Ooh. So hits in for 3 from Exalted. Yeah, Levi would like to get the Spell Queller back, and Charles is going to say no. Another Spell Queller takes care of the Reflector Mage. Well, Levi can try again. There's another Reflector Mage in there, Ryan.
Right, and then that one will reset the Queller on Reflector Mage, and then Reflector Mage bounces the other Spell Queller.
Unless, of course, you just company into a 3rd Spell Queller. Or a Drog
Captain. Yeah. There are still plenty of ways for this to go wrong.
And Levi's just got to hope that Charles doesn't have all of these things.
Right. Spell Queller pretty significant in the matchup unless the humans has a very quick start.
Okay, Noble Hierarch will cast Noble Hierarch. At this point, swinging with 1 and swinging with 2 is the same thing, so he'll just attack with 1.
Right.
Exalts up to 4.
Not that he's generally interested in blocking with the Queller, but if for whatever reason the champion doesn't grow, then he's going to block.
Here's Reflector Mage, and Charles has the Collected Company.
All right. I mean, even Phantasmal Image on Spell Queller is something you can hit.
You need to dodge Phantasmal Image, Spell Queller, and Drog Skull Captain here.
That's only 10 hits.
If you let the Reflector Mage resolve, then Rattle Chain works.
Yeah, you need it to 11 hits.
Look, sometimes they have it all.
Yeah, I guess it's just different. It can't be 11 because Spell on the stack's how you try to catch Queller. There's more looks at that.
For the 3rd turn in a row, that one can't work. That guy's summoning sick, but fortunately he can tap the land.
Yeah, gotta take a damage.
That's right. Here's Collected Company. Not yet.
Any spell quellers?
Or any of the other things you mentioned?
Oh.
Oh, both. Spell Queller and Drug Skull Captain. He just throws the cards. So it's just, you'll counter my spell and Anthem the team. Well, that stinks.
Yeah,
Scoop.
Close game.
And Charles Sedberry, a 2-0 winner.
Yeah, just really demonstrating all the advantages that the Spirits deck has.